Welcome to the introductory video for money4mzansi. So what is money4mzansi all about? It is a non-profit focused on helping South Africa migrate to a joy economy by 2030. So what is that all about? Let's see. When you come right down to it, life is pretty simple. We all want safety and sustenance for our family and some joy. And that is why we all work together. We all work together to provide everyone a home, food, water, clothes, education, furniture, and appliances. That's what basically the word economy is all about in South Africa. It's all of us working together to produce for each other what we need. In many countries of the world, this is progressing very well, like in Australia or other developed countries of the world. Everyone has a home, everyone has food, safety, sustenance. Switzerland, Australia, and many other of the developed countries around the world. In these countries, they have all the infrastructure that they need. Homes, buildings, factories, roads, water reticulation, all the systems and infrastructure that they need to provide each other safety, sustenance, and some joy. And what's interesting is this is being automated at great speed. The production of food, furniture, appliances, even the distribution of goods and services, as well as service itself, is being automated. So where is this going? Well, this is going to the point where that money4mzansi describes as a joy economy. And this is what these developing countries are moving towards at a rapid pace. The majority of society in these developed countries by 2030 no longer being involved in the production of core safety and sustenance products and services. What will the majority be doing? Well, they will be creating and consuming leisure services, entertainment, travel, restaurants, food. That's what people will be up to. And we can see this starting to happen, but the pace will pick up greatly during the 20s. And by 2030, the developed world will be in a joy economy. How about South Africa? What is our situation? Well, in South Africa, we still need masses of infrastructure. There are millions of our people living in shacks, not sure about their safety and sustenance at all. There are millions of frustrated people protesting, and rightly so, against a difficult life in a country where they feel the system is not properly supporting them and giving them the opportunity to have a life of safety and sustenance. There are the rich and the middle class, and these have to essentially protect themselves from the rest of society, the haves protecting themselves from the have-nots. Quite a dystopian society. And what about us migrating to a joy economy by 2030? Will we be able to? Sadly, no. We will never be able to migrate to a joy economy by 2030 unless we change the fundamentals of how our South African society works. That's worth repeating. We will never be able to migrate to a joy economy by 2030 unless we change the fundamentals of how our South African society works. money4mzansi has prepared a plan in this regard. The change that is needed and the work that is needed to enable us to migrate to a joy economy by 2030. This involves changing how we in South Africa create, allocate, and exchange money. Well, don't we already have a plan, the National Development Plan? Well, let's look at it. The main thrust of the National Development Plan is to create 11 million new jobs by 2030. This is to occur via export-driven growth, followed by domestic growth. Let's see how this is going. So the key objectives are reducing employment in the level at 2012 was 25%, and the first goal is to reduce it to 14% by 2020, followed by another reduction to 6% by 2030. So it's 2016 now. Where are we? Well, currently unemployment is standing at 26.6%. That's the official unemployment. The unofficial employment is considerably higher, in the 30% somewhere. And the forecast doesn't look that great either. The forecast for 2021 currently is that the minimum unemployment will be 21%. So the National Development Plan it's simply not working. And why is it not working? Well, it's because South Africa, same as many other developing countries, faced the challenge of premature deindustrialization. So the path followed by the rest of the developed world and the so-called Asian tigers of manual labor-fueled, export-led growth is no longer possible. So that's bad. Is there a way out for South Africa? Yes, via domestic-driven growth, essentially pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps. And that is what the money4mzansi plan for South Africa is about. Let's look at it in a bit more detail. So, step number one is we have to commit to a Hamiltonian approach of national development. Now, there's a bit more that describes what a Hamiltonian approach of national development is about, but that is not covered in this introductory video. The next step is to jumpstart domestic growth through 3 trillion rand of social housing and related infrastructure creation and universal basic income funded by societal debt-based money creation. And there's more detail, obviously, in the plan for what is needed and how to go about it. We must, in the same breath, protect and nurture local manufacturing to a much greater extent than we do now. Lastly, we must do the above based upon open economy principles. Again, covered in greater detail in other videos. The money4mzansi video series consists of part 1, which is a more detailed explanation of how our country works, what money is, where it comes from, how we create it, how we allocate it, and basically how we collaborate in South Africa. Part 2 explains what about this is currently not working. And part 3 explains how these problems will be exacerbated by basically where the future is going. The part 4 then covers money4mzansi's plan for South Africa in more detail. So next steps after watching the introductory video, please watch the money4mzansi 4-part video series that explains the reasons why the National Development Plan is up against insurmountable challenges and what we should do about it. Please assist us in spreading awareness. Please like, follow, and share money4mzansi on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Join and host community events to inform and organize our fellow citizens. The next step is then for us to realize citizen, business, and government commitment to the plan. Point number 4, we must establish the collaborative infrastructure needed to execute the plan by June 2018. And by July 2018, we start building toward our Joy Economy 2030. Thank you for watching this video, and please watch the 4-part series explaining in much more detail what money4mzansi is about. Please join us in our journey and our work towards a Joy Economy for all South Africans by 2030. Thank you.